If you think McDonald's makes its money selling burgers, you could not be more wrong. Around 95% of its 40,000 plus restaurants aren't even run by McDonald's. They're run by franchises. So who's actually flipping the burgers? It's not the company. Is one that its own money man admitted out loud decades ago, quote, "We are not in the food business. We are in the real estate business." The Golden Arches are one of the biggest landlords on earth, and the burger is almost a side hustle. Stay to the end if you guys want to see how McDonald's really makes their money. Take a guess. How many restaurants do you think McDonald's has worldwide? Is it a few hundred? A few thousand? No, not even close. 40,000 restaurants, and it owns and operates only about 5% of them. The other 95% are franchises, which are independent operators who paid for the right to put up those golden arches and run their own store. So when you buy a Big Mac, the person who hired the staff, bought the patties, and pockets the profit on that sandwich usually isn't McDonald's. It's a local franchise, which raises an obvious question. If McDonald's isn't selling you most of their burgers, how is it one of the most profitable companies on the planet? The answer might not be what you think. It's that McDonald's doesn't really want to sell you burgers. No. It wants to collect from the people who do. Every franchise pays McDonald's two big ongoing checks. The first is a royalty, which is a slice of the store's total sales, around 4 to 5%. For the brand, the menu, the systems. That's the part everyone expects. But the second check changes everything, the rent. Because in most cases, McDonald's owns the land and the building your local McDonald's sits on, and it leases that real estate back to the franchise. So the franchise pays McDonald's to use the brand and pays McDonald's again just to occupy the building. And here's a stat that just gives it all away. In 2024, McDonald's collected about $5.6 billion in royalties alone from franchises. From rent, about $10 billion. McDonald's makes nearly twice as much being a landlord as it does licensing the most famous brand in fast food. Rent is its single biggest source of revenue. The McDonald's part, the brand, the recipes, earn its billions, but the parking lot it's standing on earns infinitely more. That's not a restaurant company. That's a property company with a really good tenant. So how did a burger chain become a landlord? In the 1950s, McDonald's was barely profitable, selling franchises the normal way, a small cut of sales. Then a finance guy named Harry Sonneborn looked at the model and had the idea that built the empire. Instead of just licensing the brand, McDonald's would control the real estate, buy or lease the land and building, then lease it to the franchise at a big markup, plus that royalty that I was talking about. He set up a whole separate company in 1956 just to do it, McDonald's Franchise Realty Corporation. His line to investors was blunt: "We are not in the food business, we're in the real estate business. The burgers were just what paid the rent." So now let's think about, why is owning the ground so much better than just a brand royalty? There's 3 reasons. 1, the rent is usually tied to the store sales, so the better the franchise does, the bigger McDonald's rent check gets. It wins automatically when you win. 2, McDonald's ends up owning an enormous, appreciating real estate portfolio. Tens of billions in land and buildings on the best corners in every town. And that land goes up in value while it collects rent the whole time. And for the 3rd reason, rent is contractual and steady. A burger chain's sales wobble with the economy. A landlord's rent shows up no matter what. McDonald's didn't just franchise a restaurant. It turned every franchise into a tenant on real estate it owns. From the franchise's chair, the picture gets even clearer. To open McDonald's, you pay a $45,000 franchise fee up front, and then sink well over $1 million more into the kitchen, the equipment, and fitting out the store. But here's the catch. That money doesn't buy you the land or the building. McDonald's usually owns those. It develops the site, puts up the building, and leases it back to you. Then every month you pay McDonald's that royalty, around 5% of sales, plus another 4% or so into the National Marketing Fund. And your single biggest ongoing bill is the rent. Often 10 to 15% of everything the store rings up, usually more than the royalty itself. So think about where that leaves the franchise. They spend over $1 million kitting out the place. They run it every day. They take all the risk, and their biggest check every month still goes to McDonald's just for the right to sit on McDonald's land. They own the burger business and everything inside it. But McDonald's owns the ground and the building around it, and it keeps collecting rent for as long as the doors stay open. So if McDonald's takes the rent, the royalty, and a cut for marketing, why would anyone want in? Because even with all that, a McDonald's is still one of the best small businesses you can buy. The average McDonald's in America rings up about $4 million in sales a year. After the rent, the royalty, and the marketing fund all come out, a well-run store can still clear a solid six-figure profit for the operator. Estimates commonly land anywhere from around $150,000 to over $400,000 a year, depending on the location and how well it's run. That's why McDonald's doesn't have to chase franchises. It turns most applicants away. People wait years and bring millions in cash for the chance to sign a deal where McDonald's is also their landlord. So both sides really do win. McDonald's just happens to win twice, once on the burger and once on the building. And this is why they run it this way. Those rent and royalty payments from the 95% of stores McDonald's doesn't operate are almost pure profit. No beef to buy, no fries to cook to pay. In 2024, that franchise side threw off around $13 billion in operating profit. The company stores, the 5% where McDonald's actually sells the food, produced only about $1.5 billion on far more effort as well, and much thinner margins. Selling the burger is a low margin grind. Owning the building it's sold in is the high margin gold mine. So McDonald's keeps just enough company stores to stay close to the operation and lets franchises take the risk of running them. Step back and look at the size of what they built. Add up the land and the buildings McDonald's owns, and it carries around $25 billion of property on its books. And that's the depreciated value, after decades of write-downs dragging the number down. What that land is actually worth on the open market today is far higher. That makes the Golden Arches one of the largest corporate real estate owners on the entire planet. Prime, high-traffic corners in basically every town in America, and thousands more around the world. Think about every McDonald's you have ever driven past. McDonald's very likely owns the dirt underneath a huge share of them. This isn't just a restaurant chain that happens to own some buildings. It's a real estate portfolio the size of a major property company that just happens to have Golden Arches on the sign. Here's the part a competitor just can't copy. The franchise model, anyone can franchise, but nobody can recreate the 70 years of buying the best corner in every town before anyone else wanted it. McDonald's locked up prime real estate decades ago when it was cheap, and that land has been compounding in value ever since. And the machine self-funds. The rent it collects buys more real estate, which means more rent, which buys more real estate. A rival can copy the recipe and the franchise contract overnight. It cannot copy a half-century property portfolio worth tens of billions, sitting on the busiest intersections in the world. And owning the real estate buys McDonald's something the rent number alone doesn't show: control. Because McDonald's holds the building and the lease. A franchise can't pick up and walk away with the location, and can't quietly let standards slide either. Fall behind on quality or sales, and McDonald's isn't just an unhappy brand. And it can put a better operator on that corner when the lease comes up. Renewals happen on McDonald's terms, not the franchises. So the same real estate that collects the rent also keeps 40,000 independent owners marching in lockstep. The land isn't only an asset, it's a leash. So next time you pull into a McDonald's, look again at what's really there. The fries and the Big Mac, that's the tenant. The valuable thing is the land under your tires, and McDonald's owns it, collecting rent every time someone orders a Happy Meal. It was never really a burger company, no. It's a real estate empire wearing a clown costume. If you want more breakdowns like this, the hidden business model behind the brands you see every day, subscribe and I'll see you in the next one.